Here's my question. Here's my question for you, Goodman.
Yeah.
Which teams right now do you think have the most on the line as they wait for these players to make their decisions on whether or not they are going to stay in the draft? Well, you think I have
Creighton. Creighton would be the one that stands out to
Creighton.
me with Trey Alexander and Ryan Kalkbrenner and Arthur Kaluma, who I don't think will be back. And that before we get into all this, just so we know, and I'm looking at the list, the list doesn't have as much pop to it anymore. Again, because you could put your name in now and withdraw, and a lot of these kids withdraw. So I don't really put much stock into it yet. But I will say a lot of these kids, not a lot, but a good amount, are going to withdraw and enter the portal in 2 weeks. There'll be a few. And those are going to be the big ones. The ones that don't get invited to the combine, because I assume the combine invites are going to go out. Combine's usually like what, mid-May-ish, a little later, like May 20th. So those combine invites are going to go out right before the deadline here, right before the portal closes.
And the portal closes on May 31st, right? No, May 13th. May 13th. I'm sorry, May 13th. The deadline. Portal. Yeah, the deadline to withdraw, I believe, is May 31st.
And the combine is what? It's
right around that same time. So the invites will later. Yeah, the invites will go 15th, out.
It's May 15th through the 21st. So basically, the combine invites are going to go out right before the portal closes, which means if some of these kids don't get a portal invite, don't get a combine invite, but I know I'm confusing everybody here. Don't get a combine invite, but don't want to go back to the school that they were at. They're going to throw their name in the portal at the 11th hour. And I would expect like Arthur Kaluma could be one of those from what I'm hearing.
Yeah. So Creighton with the most on the line. The one that I was going to say was UCLA.
Yeah, but Tiger's not coming back. He's done.
Yeah. But Adeem Bona is declared for the draft.
He'll come back. He's got to come back.
And Jalen Clark. But you don't know. You don't know that.
Jalen Clark, he popped his Achilles. He can't even play at the combine.
So how about
anything? Why is he even on this list? Why?
Jalen Clark?
Yes.
Go get feedback from NBA teams that watched him. So we can sit with those guys and can talk with those guys. He can interview with those guys.
But he's got to come back.
Probably. But you don't know that he will.
It would be listen, I spoke to him for a while in their locker room before an NCAA tournament game. And he seems like a really, really smart kid. And this would be a really, really bad decision if he were to come out.
Okay. So how about Illinois with Terrence Shannon and Coleman Hawkins?
Shannon could come back. Both of them could come back. Yeah, that's important because they haven't done a lot of like heavy lifting in the portal. Like they did a year ago when they got Terrence Shannon and got Matthew Meyer. They got Quincy Guerrier. They got the kid from Southern Illinois, Marcus Domask, kid from Utah Valley. I don't know much about, to be honest. So, they need Terrence Shannon back. They could use Hawkins back, Connie Hawkins. They could use Connie Hawkins back.
Connie Hawkins back. The other names that I had on that list, Arkansas with Jordan Walsh in the portal, whether or not he ends up coming back. Keontae Johnson declared for the draft.
Yeah, I heard he's 50-50.
Yeah, whether or not he ends up coming back to school, because if he comes back and you put, if it happens, Max Asmus next to him, then we're talking about another like very, very good Kansas State team. Naquan Tomlin is also
the kid from North Texas could transfer there. Tyler Perry,
yeah. Missouri with Kobe Brown, I think has a lot on the line.
I got a huge one for you. Here's as big a one as any.
Zach Edey.
No, well, yes, Northwestern's backcourt. Both are in there, and they're both 50. They could move on. Boo Buie and Chase Audige. That's huge for Northwestern.
So Northwestern is either going to be like a top 40-ish kind of a team or horrible again.
Terrible. Yes, they could be terrible without them, or an NCAA tournament team.
You really know how to bring up the teams that will move the needle, Goodman. If there's one thing I know about Northwestern is that anytime we talk about Northwestern, the viewership and the listens on the show skyrockets. You got to give the people what they want, right?
I'm looking at other ones. Yeah, Zach Edey, obviously, and that could go either way. I think, and I've said this multiple times, not based on information. I just think he'll come back. I think they're going to find a way to really get him paid NIL wise, and I think he'll come back.
I agree. The other one I had listed,
Flagler for Baylor.
Yes, that's where I was about to go. Adam Flagler and Jalen Bridges are both
big one.
Have both declared, especially since they lost LJ Cryer. Baylor really, really needs him back.
Yeah.
And the last one for me was UConn. Andre Jackson, I think, is legitimately 50-50. Tristan Newton has declared. I would expect him to be back, but that might be the kind of situation where he's just done with college basketball. He's been there for 4
I'll give you a big one. Here's a huge one. Huge one to watch. Deron Holmes of Dayton. Huge one. Because, again, that's another one that there's been a lot of speculation that he could be looking at maybe going in the portal if he doesn't go pro. I've been told, more likely to stay at Dayton. But, again, a lot of these guys right now, we don't know. They're going through the process. They're thinking right now they're focused on getting to the combine, getting invited to the combine, which Deron Holmes should. And then what do? You're going to put your name in the portal just to cover your ass, even if you're invited to the combine? Some kids might. And so I think you're going to get a bunch of guys that are guys that could change, like program-changing type players. Not at the level of like Hunter or even Max Highsmith maybe, but there'll be some program-changing guys that coaches are waiting on right now that they're working to see if they put their name in the portal.
Let me tell you guys about our sponsor for today's episode, Athletic Greens. I started taking AG1 a few weeks back. When we get in the middle of college hoop season, it can be hard for me to eat and drink as healthy as I probably should be, especially in late February and March when the schedule gets really busy. But I found that I've felt better as I've made AG1 a part of my daily routine. I take AG1 in the afternoons after the coffee is worn off and once the itis post-lunch is kind of set in. And what I found, my energy levels are up. It's improved my digestion. And as a result, I'm not only more efficient and productive in the most important time of the year for me and for the field of 68, but I'm working out more consistently. I just feel better. AG1 is so much more than just a greens powder. It's comprehensive health and the power of habit in one. Covering my nutritional basis for the day literally could not be easier, which is why I trust Athletic Greens. I just mix one small scoop of the AG1 formula with water, and I drink it every single afternoon. Done. Just like that. I also like that it only costs $3 a day. The price is right. If a comprehensive solution is what you need for your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is the answer. They are giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Free! Just go to athleticgreens.com/field68. That's athleticgreens.com/field68. The link is in the description below. Check it out. Support the Field of 68 and feel better about yourself.